So you've just left the bustling city and you're all excited. Things can only go up from here, right? Well, unfortunately, you're about to experience the polar opposite. Snow Kingdom is a cold, brutal mistress and doesn't take lightly to the fact that you're trying to go fast. So what exactly can we do to fight back? Before we enter the literal tundra and freeze to death, if you've been enjoying these improved videos and you want to keep up with them in the future, why not subscribe? There's still more videos on the way with some bigger, more daunting kingdoms still to come. Or if you want to chat about one of the recent videos or even join our humble little community, then Discord is definitely where you want to head. We have a cat rewards channel popping off in there where people volunteer pictures of their cats. It's a fun time and we'd love to have you. Alright, now that we're out here in the cold, we might as well start moving to get that body temperature up. Once you gain control of Mario, simply initiate a roll. Then once you begin rolling, start holding left on the analog stick. Then input one single roll boost. This will allow you to fall over the edge and cut across to the floor instead of going all the way around up top. Then, as you begin to approach the ground, simply begin running in between the two icicles. Then once you're past them, just begin rolling. Making sure that your last roll boost is just before the water so you get the maximum distance. Then as you hit the water, jump out of it and dive onto the next platform, then repeat. Roll boost 3 times, then once again, making sure your last one is right before the water. Then again, jumping out and diving onto the hill. Roll boost up towards Toad, and just before you touch the loose snow in front of Toad, roll cancel backwards. Then wait for Toad's dialogue prompt to appear and talk to him. Once Toad has relinquished his weird gift, buffer a spin pound and head down left on your analog stick. If you get lucky, you can get 2 separate roll boosts off the floor, but usually you'll just not get any shake inputs, so once you're at the bottom, make your way onto this little bump in the snow, do a triple jump off of it, then cap dive, and dive in this direction towards the entrance of Shiveria, roll boost once on the ledge, and as you approach the edge, roll cancel to hover in the air enough to make it over the entrance hole, and simply ground pound to enter Shiveria. As Mario is in this stunned animation after falling into Shiveria, make sure to turn the camera behind you so it's all nice and ready for when we do gain control. Then of course, once you do, turn around and dive behind you. Then do a large jump onto the first step, followed by a small jump, then a large jump again to do a triple jump towards the wall. Then we'll jump off the back wall, followed by off the boxes, then dive into the wall so you bonk and grab the moon. Once you've grabbed the moon, simply dive and recenter the camera with the bumper button. Then once you hit the floor, roll boost twice. If you're good with roll cancels, you can do one here and continue your momentum forward to jump onto the umbrella, or you could simply stop rolling and continue running before simply jumping onto it. Either works really. As you bounce on the umbrella, make sure you're neutral on the analog stick. The reason we go neutral on the analog stick here is so that by the time we actually reach the bridge, we're a bit lower than you would think you would want to be. This is because if you're too high up when you try and wall jump off of the bridge, Mario will actually just get pushed down instead of out, and you won't be able to jump on top. Then once you're at the peak of the bounce, cap dive towards the wall, then stall against the edge of the bridge. We'll jump off, hold towards the bridge, and input a spin throw, then dive on top, while heading towards the right to hit and activate the chest moon. Align yourself in the center if you can, before finally jumping into the moon and grabbing it. After grabbing the chest moon, dive and recenter the camera. Roll boost 3 times and buffer a spin pound. Once you've cleared the wall to your right, spin pound towards the right and roll down the hill. After you pass the loose snow, roll boost 4 additional times while heading towards the ground pound spot, or a little bit closer to the left. You want to be a little bit closer to the wall. If you're looking to take snow that extra step, there is something a little spicy you can do here to save a second or so. As you approach the ground pound spot, do so from the left hand side. Then as you approach it, buffer a spin and spin pound to activate the moon. There aren't any real visual cues to see where this moon is, mostly because the camera angle is kind of just bad. I mostly just got a feeling, and 4 roll boosts normally lines you up pretty well for the spin pound. But this is definitely one of those ones that you kind of just have to do 500 times before you get anywhere with it, which, as you can imagine, is extremely time consuming as the only checkpoints in Snow Kingdom are outside. So if you don't have the practice mod, it's even worse. But anyway, back on topic. Snow Moon Clip is somewhat similar to Nut Clip, but the timing is somewhat different as the way the moon spawns into the game is different. You have to be a bit tighter on your timing, I feel, for this one, or it just straight up will not work. My way to make the timing work has always been as follows. After activating the moon, while still holding the crouch button from the spin pound, walk slightly forward, or in this case, towards the right, before finally backflipping. Then, as I'm about level with the moon, I throw Cappy towards the wall to clip. Again, I don't really use this as a visual cue. I normally go off timing, and it's more of a feeling thing, but this is just what I can give you based off my own observations looking at this after the fact. This information really is about as useful as someone trying to explain nut clip timing with words, because that's pretty much just what this is. But it's honestly the best anyone can do without directly telling you to just go try it yourself. Keep in mind this clip saves extremely minimal time in any percent and really only becomes more than worth it when doing longer categories. But once you do clip, quickly throw Cappy somewhat up left on the analog stick, then instantly ground pound and initiate a roll. Once the camera swings around, cap dive and dive into the Blowy Joey room hitbox. Alright, the Blowy Joey room is on a strict cycle. Try and go too fast or fall behind and end up too slow, and you'll just make life for yourself more miserable. So let's take a look at how I make this work. First off, I'm usually way too fast for this room, so what I like to do is at the beginning of the movement, just run forward for a second before finally long jumping ahead and slightly to the left so that I can go around the Blowy Joey. Once you land, jump and curve to the side of the Blowy Joey before cap diving forward and diving onto this top platform. As soon as you land, roll boost, then instantly long jump before setting up for a triple jump. Make sure your final jump is off of the step just as the Blowy Joey starts blowing it forwards. It's important to note that you don't have to jump the second you touch this step. If you need just a little bit more time, you can simply walk on the step for something like half a second before Mario actually stops the triple jump sequence. Once you've been shoved forward, wait till Mario starts to fall, then cap dive and dive onto the raised platform and buffer a spin pound. Once you land, spin pound and activate the moon. Grab the moon, then as you fall, turn around and dive towards the Blowy Joey, doing your best to avoid the spinies. Are these guys even called spinies? I don't even know, dude. If you get good RNG, then roll boost past them, then do similar movement to the beginning of the Madame Brood fight in Cascade. Spin throw roll cancel, jump, and then spin throw roll cancel again. If you're not a spin throw roll cancel gamer, any flavor of roll cancels works here really. The spin throw method is just a bit cleaner. Then, as you've captured the Blowy Joey, move slightly forward, then shake your controller to start blowing away the spinies. It's important to note that you don't have to move all that far forward as the Blowy Joey. The range on his whirlwind is quite large. Now, there is a strat here that you can do if the spiny RNG plays nice, and it saves about a second. Ideally, as you're blowing away the spinies, you want one of them to get stuck on this wall like so. If you're aware of the camera strats in Odyssey, this is another one of those. But if you're not, basically how it works is as you go past and kill off this spiny as Mario, you're closer to the story moon, which means the camera has to pan way less to show the moon, and therefore saving you something like a second when done optimally. But as for how to actually do it, once you've blown all the spinies but one to their death, exit the Taifu and dive, roll boost, then as you pass by the spiny, roll cancel into it, jump, shift your analog stick back to forward, and dive up top. Most people will add a cap throw for safety here, but it's good to note that it isn't necessary. If you don't get the spiny manip, the way that I normally run through this movement is to simply roll boost once, then as I approach the wall, roll cancel into it, and then get a Cappy return jump, or just normal jumping if one doesn't come out, before finally diving towards the moon. That definitely isn't the fastest way, but it's one of the easier ways to set up in a pinch. Once you've grabbed the story moon, jump and quickly dive. Once you come out of the pipe, throw Cappy towards the upright on your analog stick, a little bit closer to directly right than you think is comfortable, then quickly dive and roll boost towards the Goomba room. Head into the corridor, then begin roll boosting towards the door. Once inside, simply begin a roll and start roll boosting towards the Goombas. I like to fit 4 roll boosts in, then roll cancel towards the leftmost Goomba, and instantly throwing Cappy at him again to recapture him. Then, jump on top of the Goomba on the right and start heading towards the Goombas in the distance. As you approach the closest Goomba, make sure to aggro him, then jump towards the right of it, trigger the ice to fall from the ceiling, all the while aggroing the Goomba on the left if you can. Then while heading back towards the one in the front, jump on the first Goomba, then the one heading towards you, then begin making your way towards the button. Just jump onto the ice step, then shake jump up onto the button. The reason we shake jump here is because when you shake jump onto one of these Goomba switches, you can actually uncapture the Goombas and they'll still trigger the switch, as opposed to uncapturing them and then it just not doing anything. But as soon as you land on the switch, as I just mentioned, uncapture the Goombas while holding towards the next moon, which is a little bit up left, so Mario is instantly facing that direction when he comes out of the capture. Then, once you clear the gap, dive and roll boost twice to bonk into the back wall and grab the moon. Once collected, dive, then roll boost once and instantly roll cancel directly towards the left. If you roll cancel the 90-degree angle while on ice, Mario will change directions instead of sliding out of control. Then, while heading down left, doing a triple jump off this last platform, then cap diving and diving before just roll boosting twice and long jumping into the moon. Once you've waited out the cutscene without touching anything else on your controller, simply initiate a roll, and as soon as Mario touches the floor, long jump. You'll slurp right into the pipe. Once you come out of the pipe, instantly throw Cappy behind you, but slightly towards the right, then dive and begin roll boosting. Simply heading straight for like a fraction of a second before continuing while holding towards the right. The aim is to slip in between the Chevarian and the shop sign and roll directly into the door. Getting this angle will feel like a losing battle at first, but it's definitely one of those ones where once it's locked in, you'll never really bonk into the sign again. Once you're in the shop, just like normal, move ever so slightly forward and towards the left to talk to the Chevarian to purchase the moon. Then just warping to the Odyssey to do Snowdrome. Now, you may or may not know, but I already have a video detailing Snowdrome itself, albeit with Japanese hints. But I'm not going to go incredibly in-depth here, but doing Snowdrome fast and without worry is an important part of making Snow Kingdom fast. But as I just mentioned, I'm not going to go into detail here, as it would just be reiterating what I already state in way more detail over in my actual video. So in the weirdest way possible, this is kinda the end of this video. I'll just make sure I double down here and say that if you do indeed need to learn how to do Snowdrome, that video will be linked in the description or in the card up in the top right of this video, but I just didn't really want to waste too much time at the end of this one. But that's it. The Winter Tundra is now behind us as we make our way to the fiery pits of Mount Luncheon Kingdom. If you enjoyed today's video and you still have questions about Snow Kingdom, head on over to my Twitch channel. You can pop into chat and you can ask me live. Alternatively, if you have a video just like this one, or even completely different to this one that you've been itching to make a reality, but you just don't know anything about video editing, consider checking out my website. The link for that's also in the description. I do some freelance video editing and would be happy to chat with you about your projects. Outside of that, gamers, thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you next time.